everyone, I'm Marcin and welcome in my minifigure Blender tutorial for beginners, where I'm gonna show you how to modeling, texturing, creating a scene, how to render an image or animation like this. So let's get started.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain.
Alright guys, let's jump into the Blender then. Let's create new file by pressing General. Okay, let's delete everything from the viewport by pressing A on your keyboard, X and delete. Now I'm just gonna turn the shortcut add-on on so you can see what key I'm pressing or a button. And we want to load some reference images first. So let's press 1 on your numpad to go to the front orthographic view. If you don't have a numpad on your keyboard, you can always go to Edit, References, use Input and just emulate numpad. So you can use normal numeric buttons on your keyboard instead. Okay, so let's say we're gonna add some images now, pressing and holding Shift and A. I'm gonna add some image reference. We're gonna add Brickman from that JPG first. You can find these images into the descriptions below. Let's add Brickman front first. And now we want to line up a bottom of this image within that red horizontal line and a center, roughly center of this image within that vertical line. So G for grab and just move it, that image somewhere here, let's set roughly. Okay, and now we want to move that image a bit backwards, so press G and Y to move it only across Y-axis and just move it somewhere here. Yeah, and we need a side view as well, so pressing 3 on your numpad and holding Shift and pressing A, choose Image References and Brickman side, but this image is facing wrong direction, so we're gonna right click on it, Mirror and Y Global, so you're gonna face it that way. Okay, press 3 again, G for grab, and just like before, just line it up, vertical line in the center of the image and that horizontal line on the bottom. Okay, and G and X across X axis, move it a bit left. Okay, we've got our scene ready. Let's save this file first. File, save as. Let's create new folder. Tutorial, let's set, you can choose any name you like, and the name file minifigure, for example. Save. After you can only press Ctrl S and you're gonna save in that location automatically. Okay, we can organize a bit our collection by pressing on one of them empty images and holding Shift, pressing on another one, so select both of them. Now pressing M and just create, let's say, ref. Okay, so they're now in like a separate folder. Okay, so we can start modeling our minifigure now. So we can press 1 to go to the front orthographic view. And we're gonna add some mesh by pressing and holding Shift and A. Add mesh, and we're gonna add some cube. We're gonna work now, first of all, we're gonna work on the waist area first. So adding some cubes, let's scale it down to match this kind of shape. So S for scale, and just slide your mouse up and down. And now G for grab, and Z to move only along Z axis. Okay, just try to match this area here. S for scale, X to scale only along x-axis, so left and right. Okay, and I'm gonna move that picture a bit left because it's not in the center. Okay, you can always use X-ray mode to see through that mesh, so it's easier sometimes to see the line behind. And now we go in 3 on your keyboard, on your numpad, and we're gonna scale that cube only across y-axis by pressing S and Y. Scale like that. And G for grab Y, just put it in the center like this. Okay, we've got one shape ready. And now we want to add that middle part in here. We're gonna be round part, so we're gonna use some cylinder. One for the front orthographic view, Shift and A, mesh and cylinder. And we want to rotate that cylinder across y-axis by pressing R and Y to lock it up only on y-axis, and type 90 and enter. And you can always use this option here to rotate it. Yeah, so type it 90 and 90. Okay, let's go 1 and just match this shape within that kind of middle part. So S for scale, G and Z to move it up. Let's turn the X-ray mode again. And G, Z. Scale it a bit more. Okay, now S and X to scale it only along X-axis. Yeah, and a 3 for a side view. You can tell that picture is too high. Take it down a bit. Okay, pressing R cylinder again. S for scale, G and Z only to move it a bit upwards. And 1 again, and S and X to scale it a bit across x-axis. Okay, so we got our first S shape. Now we're gonna join them two meshes together because now we got two separate meshes. So let's use a Boolean modifier for that. So press on the cube. Let's go to the modifier tab by pressing that range key, add modifier, Boolean, and just choose Boolean, check union, choose union, and just move using eyedropper tool. Just select our cylinder, and we can apply this modifier. Okay, so now we got like a one objects, and we also got that copy of that cylinder left, but we're gonna use it in a minute. So we can hide it for now by pressing H, or just choosing this eye icon here to hide it up and unhide it. And now we will go to the front orthographic view and just scoot that part right in the center, so we can use mirror modifier and just duplicate. We can only work on one side, and the second side will be duplicated straight away. So let's go to the edit mode now. So you can always choose from here edit mode, or you can press tab on your keyboard. It's very handy shortcut, so you should remember because you're gonna use it a lot of time. Okay, so if we are in edit mode now, let's add some loop cut right in the center of this cylinder. So pressing Ctrl R, gonna add that loop cut here. You can see it's across all our shape. So now if you hold it on the side of this mesh, it will try to add some loop cuts horizontal line in the horizontal way, but we want it in vertical way. We want it in vertical position. So when you see yellow line vertical, you press left mouse button, yeah, and now right mouse button straight away, so it's gonna lock it up right in the center. We don't want to move it left or right, so got straight in the center. What we're gonna do now is go on the front view again by pressing 1 on your numpad. Let's go into the X-ray mode and choose, if you got different modes selected here, let's choose the first one, which is a vertex select mode, and just click your left mouse button and drag your mouse across them verticals what we want to have that. Yep, and when they all selected, just press X and just choose delete vertex. Okay, so we've got only like a half shape now. Now let's go to the back to the object mode. Turn X-ray off, X-ray mode off, so you can see better. And now go to the modifier tab again, add modifier and mirror. And make sure the clipping is enabled. And when you've done everything correct, you should have something like this. But only one side now is editable. I can only work on one side because it's going to be much faster. So what we want to do is now, using that other cylinder, what we just hide it for, to create a leg. So let's go now into the side view by pressing 3 on your keyboard, on your numpad keyboard. Unhide that cylinder. Let's unhide it. Let's choose that cylinder, by the way. Let's choose him up first. And press G and X to move it only across X-axis. Yeah. And now pressing 1 on your numpad to go on the front view. S for scale, X, and only scale it across X-axis like that, and just smash it up as close as you can into that shape, but don't actually touch it. Don't actually go over it. Just need to be very, very closely. So G and X, going that way. What we want to do is scale it a bit more along X-axis, that cylinder, so you can overhanging from the mesh. So SX like that, and GX, and just move it very close to the object. Apparently it's only like a little gap. Even more, maybe GX. Okay. So this part should be overhanging. And this need to be should touch. Because what we want to do now is using Boolean modifier again, but now to cut the shape of the cylinder into that cube shape. So we're going to choose our cube again. So now we're going to add another modifier, a Boolean. No, sorry. Add another modifier, Boolean. This time we're going to choose difference, and using eyedropper tool, select our cylinder. And we can apply this modifier. Sorry, we can, apply. So what we did, if we hide that cylinder now, we just cut the shape of the cylinder in that mesh as the minifigure looks like it, yeah. Okay, so let's unhide our cylinder. Now we're gonna scale it down a bit so you can have a nice little gap between the leg and that waist area. We only scale it along Y and X axis, so you can press S, Shift and X, so we can only scale it. Scale it a bit. Okay, so we got nice gap in here. So what we want to do now is start modeling our leg using our cylinder. So go pressing 3, go to the side view. Now turn the X-ray mode on. Now we're gonna do edit mode to have a verticals mode selected. We're gonna select those verticals in here, and by pressing E for extrude and a Z and Z again, we're gonna extrude along Z axis only. And we're gonna press left mouse button here. Now we want to straight that line up. We're gonna press S, Z and a 0. So I'm gonna scale along Z axis up to the 0, so it's nice and flat. We're gonna have shape like this. Okay, 3. And now we wanna, of course, grab it and just slide it down to match this kind of shape. So G for grab and Z. Grab only along Z axis and just go in here. Now we want to add this part of the leg. So 3 again. Gonna add some loop cut in the middle. So Ctrl R. Press the left mouse button. Yeah, slide it a bit. Press left mouse button again. And now we want to have that make it straight as well as a bottom here. So let's press S and Z and 0. And G for grab, Z, and just slide it a bit down. Okay. And now let's turn the X-ray mode off. Going into the face mode selecting. Choose our face, 3 again, and E. Just slide it like that. There you go. So we've got leg now. Now what we want to do is just add now before we're gonna add the mirror modifier to duplicate that leg to the second side. We're gonna do this part here because it's overhanging that little part in here of the leg. Okay, so being in the edit mode, let's add some loop cut in here. So Control R, left mouse button, slide it up a bit, say in here, and left mouse button again. Now we want to select all them faces on this side, so going into the face mode, selection, choose multiple faces by pressing and holding Shift key, or you can pressing Control key and just select all lines straight away, and a Shift key again in here, and a Control key and press it here. So you can select all that side. Going down front view, E for extrude, E for extrude. Okay. And we've got it something like this. Now we can use a mirror modifier to copy this leg on other side. So mirror tab, so modifier tab, add modifier, mirror. Now before using different axes because we never apply the scale and rotation, so selecting that item, selecting that leg. Let's press Ctrl A. So first of all, we need to be in object mode. Let's select that leg, press Ctrl A and apply location. Press Ctrl A again, apply rotation, and let's apply scale as well. So Ctrl A, scale. Or you can always apply everything in one go by pressing Ctrl A, all transforms. But I want to do it separately. Okay, so we've got our legs. Now we can smooth this a bit. Let's start from this part. Press right mouse click on it, shade smooth, and we've got the weird artifacts in here. So we go into the object data properties, choose normals and auto smooth. And if we decrease that, you can see the smoothing is turned off, it's 0. As much as we increase this, the smoothing increasing as well. We're going to do same with our legs. So right click, shade smooth, auto smooth. And we can leave it on 30 degrees, it's no problem. So we've got our legs ready. Let's Ctrl S to select to save it our project, just in case. So now what we want to do is to modeling that top part of our minifigure. So one on your numpad. Oh, sorry, not one. Let's choose this. It's going to be easier when we're going to choose this this object first. Go into the edit mode by pressing tab or choosing here. Have it a face selecting mode. Just select that face. And now we're going to duplicate that face. So we're going to press Shift and D to duplicate. Now we're going to press Z after to move it a bit upward. Just a bit, yeah. With that. And E to separate that from create a new object. And now going back to object mode by pressing tab. Select that piece, what we want. Pressing tab again to go to the edit mode. Now we can modeling that of our minifigure. So you can select that face, or you can select that face, go with one on your numpad. Now we're gonna extrude that up, so E for extrude. Let's extrude it till here. Okay, now 3. The matching, you can always turn X-ray off. Yeah, it's matching right. 1 again, but we want to move that a little left. So we going into the edge mode selection, just choosing that edge, go with 1 on your numpad, G for grab, X for scale it only across X-axis, and just scale it like that. Okay, we got that part ready. Let's turn the X-ray mode off. Object pressing down everything. because that part is actually a bit wider than waist part. G for grab, Z only along Z axis, and slice it down a bit so it's a bit touching it. It's very close but not touching each other. Okay, so one, and we can and what we're gonna do now is apply scale and rotation and everything like that. So press Ctrl A and all transforms. Okay, I want to have the sharp edges a bit rounder, not so sharp. So we're going to use bevel modifier. So let's go to modifier tab again, add modifier, bevel. And here we're going to, by pressing and hold it, your left mouse button, scale it down a bit, because we don't want so much round, like that. And just choose more segments. Like this. And now pressing right click on it, shade smooth. There we want to choose more segments. 6 is completely fine, so they're nice and round edges. Okay, so now we're gonna add this kind of part, which is a head of our character. So let's press 1 on your keyboard, and we're gonna use this time a circle mesh. So Shift and A, add mesh. We're gonna add circle right in the bottom, because it's our 3D cursor is still in the bottom, so it's adding everything along that 3D cursor. So 1, G for grab, Z up, and just go in here. Okay, let's go on that mode. S for scale, let's scale that way. I don't know if it's gonna be visible. Yeah, it's a bit visible. If not, you can always go into the X-ray mode and S. Scale it a bit. Okay. X-ray mode off. We go into the edit mode. We're pressing F, this button or tab key. Now we're gonna select all verticals, vertical selection mode. Pressing A to select everything, or just drag it your mouse across. Make sure that you select all verticals. F to fill with face. And now if you go 1 on your numpad, choose face selection mode and just extrude it up by pressing E on your keyboard. That's it. Extrude that way. Now pressing E again, but just extrude only a little bit. Now S to scale it, that extrusion to your match edges of the head. Now E again, go straight up here. And now press I to inset faces. We can see much, but we're gonna scale it down a bit later on. Just 1. With E again, just like that. Now we have to select them faces again, so we can turn. We always can turn X-ray mode on. Select those faces and just S for scale, but only along X and Y axis. So you have to press and hold Shift and Z, so disable Z axis. So you can scale it only along Y and X axis. Okay. So we have something like this. Turn that mode off. Now go into object mode. Control A, all transforms. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna run on your numpad. We're gonna go to edit mode again. By choosing this mode, we're gonna select that edge loop and that edge loop as well. So holding Alt key and pressing one of the edges, you're gonna select all the edges. And the same, holding Shift and Alt and pressing here, you're gonna select them edges. Now one on your numpad, and now you're gonna bevel it by pressing Ctrl B and just drag your mouse like that. And before you press anything, just scroll your wheel down. So you're gonna add extra loop cuts. Yeah, something like this. And just left mouse click button. Okay, we want to have a nice smooth modifier. We want to smooth this up, so right mouse click on it, shade smooth. And like before, go into the object data properties, select auto smooth. And we've got something like this. Okay, that should be it for first part of this tutorial. Now, the next part we're gonna start from creating them arms. See you later.